Good evening, Gabbie.
Good evening, TC, and welcome all to part 51 of our weekly podcast of Curran View with the idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran. What kind of week, or rather 2 weeks, have you had, TC?
Well, just looks like normal, isn't it, at the moment in time? I mean,
Yep.
it has lifted everything up, Gabbie.
Yep.
But as you know, it's still people still can't get out and about as such. You know, even though pubs they've opened up, but there's a lot of people still declining to go because of, you know, you've got to sign into these pubs and what have you.
Yep.
So, but other than that, you know, some of football, I'm missing some of the English football because I'm going and watching La Liga.
Yeah.
I mean, because both teams are trying to play against each, trying to get points, whereas the English, all it is just one sits off and tries to win on the counter-attack, don't they? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think in Spain, and I think generally speaking in the continent, barring Italy, teams do seem to go for it. And both teams, no matter who the opposition is, they try and win a game. There's two games in particular. Manchester City have played Newcastle United twice. I keep hearing on radio Steve Bruce has been doing a magnificent job. I think he's absolutely stunk St James's Park out. I like Steve. I thought when he was Birmingham City's manager, he always gave me a lot of his time, but I've never been a great lover of his tactics and his philosophy. And I think if you go into a game and you just roll over to have your tummy tickled, you're going to get right shoeing.
Listen, I agree 100%. I mean, I watched our boys play last night.
Yep.
And it's just boring to watch. And then I'm watching Leeds tonight.
Yep.
As we're getting ready for this. I've just finished cooking tea, and then I've watched the first half. And teams sit off Leeds in the Championship like they sit off Liverpool and Manchester City in the Premier League.
Yeah.
So majority of teams are beat before they play Leeds United.
Yeah.
And the more I keep going on about it, you know, people might get sick of me saying it, but I'm not wrong when I say it, and I don't like saying it to upset our coaches, but we play the same way. It's all channel ball, you know, over the top, win the second ball. And when you watch it, it's just boring to watch. And people say, well, we never get, you never get consistent. You're never going to get consistent if you keep giving the ball away.
Yeah.
And going back up to Bruce, I mean, I think he's done a better job than Rafael Benitez.
Better, yes. Better,
you know,
yes.
But it's only better.
Yeah.
You know, but it's typical the way our English coaches play.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, against Manchester City, they might as well not just turn up.
Again, pointless TC. We've said this on many podcasts. If I'm a forward, I'm playing for a certain team, for a certain manager, I'm saying, Gaffer, can I have the week off? Because we're playing Man City, we're playing Liverpool. I ain't going to get the ball. Whatever we're going to do in training this week, I might as well forget it on a Saturday, because all you're going to do, park the bus, put the players behind the ball, and it's a complete waste of space. Why do we bother training, Gaffer?
Exactly. I mean, you've got that bang on there, Gabbie. And let's look at it at this time.
Yeah.
From this point of view, excuse me. If you get Joe Linton at Newcastle,
yeah,
what chance has he given to 15 and 20 goals?
He'll never score that.
No. Yeah, but Gabbie, everybody will say he'll never score that. He won't at Newcastle.
No, not at all. No, that's what I'm saying. He'll never score that.
Everybody, all these teams, what these type of players join, they're all behind the ball.
Yep.
The net. If they get one chance, they've got to take it. And I don't give a damn what anybody says.
100%.
When they're working like they're working, and it's a good thing because it's working for the team. On that point of view, I'll get that. I'll give them that. But at the end of the day, they're too tired when they get out. Don't keep saying to me, 90 minutes? You make a couple of runs, choose how fit you are, right? And then you chase him back. You make your forward runs again. They do not create enough chance for them to have. So if I was a player today as a striker, I'm not saying as a forward, but as a striker, there's certain clubs I don't want to join yet. Newcastle's a massive club to play for. I know I turned them down once, but I'd already given my promise to another club. And I keep to my word on things like that. But I wouldn't want to join Newcastle the way how they play. When you play in Manchester City, and you get it all the time. they're doing a good job, marvellous job. It's the same people what say it on TV
It's
that
incredibly stupid.
our lads don't get a fair crack. It's the low. I told John Brindley today, I said years ago I could see what were happening here, and that we'll finish up. Listen, I said, do we all see the stadium? They turned up. When I tell them to be a £10 million footballer, they all call me a nutter, right? But they're right. I was wrong because he's a £200 million player, right? And when you look how the teams are playing, it's so negative that they're finished up. We've got more foreign coaches in because of our coaches' stupidity. Yeah. Nothing else. All they wanted to do is not to lose a match. And it ain't, listen, they're not playing to win 3 points. They are playing, that manager is playing for his benefit, not to get the sack.
Yep.
End of.
100%.
Whether people like it or not, that manager is playing for him not to get the sack. And that's why he goes on more defensive. There's certain players that don't pick, right? And there's certain players are always going to bring off because they're the technical ones and we want to roll the sleeves up. When they come off, don't you think they still concede goals?
Yeah.
And they never even look like creating goals then, or they've got nobody on the field. What's going to be able to create a chance for them?
100%.
It's just poor to watch, and some of it I can't watch.
You referenced Joe Linton. Let's talk about Sergio Aguero, who, in my opinion, arguably the greatest centre-forward striker that I've seen in the Premier League in recent times, right? If I was Sergio Aguero and I was playing for Newcastle, do you know what I'd do? I'd sit down on the pitch. What's the point in me being on this pitch? You're creating absolutely nothing the way that you're playing. It's pointless playing with a forward.
Well,
and you're right.
First and foremost, he wouldn't play for not for a team like you or a club like Newcastle.
Exactly.
Because I'm not having a go at Newcastle.
No, neither am I.
It's a fantastic football club.
One of the greatest.
Fantastic support. And, I mean, I played there and I know what the atmosphere is like. It's electric.
You missed a free kick and Jack never let you take another one at St James's.
He went by me. Now, Aguero, how many goals do you think Aguero would get? He'd be on 9 or 10 and people say, he's too small, he don't work hard, he don't work hard enough. That's what they'd be saying about it.
Exactly, TC. And that's what they're saying about Jack. Oh, he don't work hard enough, he don't contribute enough, he don't get on the ball enough, he keeps falling down. He's playing for Aston Villa. Put him in the Man City team or the Man United team, the England team, and you'll see him thrive with players around him that can play football or are on the same page. Football ain't difficult, is it?
No, you play with better players, it makes you a better player.
Correct.
I mean, I went and played in 3rd division.
Yeah.
And it was piss easy in one sense on me.
Yeah.
But it was hard because obviously the passing was even worse at that level.
Yeah.
But when them same people slag Manchester United off.
Yeah.
The same people slag Man United off.
Yeah.
The TV pundits.
Yeah.
Right? Now they're turning around and saying, oh, they look a lot. You know, if I had to listen to them as a manager or a pundit, I'd finish up in hospital. I'd feel depressed.
Yeah.
And I'm not having to go to because people like Paul Merson.
Great player. Great player.
You know, fantastic players.
Yeah.
And I admire him as a player.
Yeah.
So I'm not, but I can see why they fail at football as a manager. And I can see why they don't go into it. Because when I listen to them talk, I'm thinking, listen, football is not hard.
Simple game, too. So complicated by idiots.
Bielsa's proved the point with coaching.
Yeah.
If you get players who can pass a ball, right? Because if you're passing the ball to your own man, you're not losing the ball.
No, exactly.
But when you got 11 hard workers, what give the ball away, right? Now let me tell you about Wimbledon. When they say, "Oh, Wimbledon marvelous," no, Wimbledon didn't do marvelous.
Yeah.
What Wimbledon did, right? They were thugs.
Hated watching them play.
They kicked people off the park.
Yeah.
Now anybody can do that, and then we can't compete. No, anybody can compete if they want to compete. It's when they don't want to compete, right?
Yep.
So when you get these other teams, what stay up, they're in the same position next season, and the only reason why they get out of it, because I keep telling everybody this, what happens then, Gabbie, is people look at it and they say, oh, why do teams do so well 6 or 7 games to go? I'll tell you why. Because all of a sudden they need points.
Yeah.
So there's 6 or 7 games to go. They either stay in the Premier League or they get relegated. So they'll come out and attack, and then they start to win games.
Yeah.
And nobody's gotten onto it yet. They say, oh, why couldn't they do this at the beginning? It's a load of rubbish. All they've done is defend. The 6 games to go, they're in a position where they've either got a chance of staying up or they're going down. And then they go for it. By the way, there's no fans in stadiums, right? And you see the same teams, right? What's at bottom of the league, all of a sudden start to get results. Now, other things have changed with this coronavirus. You can see lots of things have changed. But the same team, when I said the same teams, the teams that are at the bottom always seem to get the results. There's no fans on it because they come out to win games more with 6 games to go. And that's what it. And if they try that in first place, they might be more safer. Somebody's got to get relegated. Choose which way you play football.
100%. I mean, 3 points. 3 points in August are just as important as 3 points in May. I know that we're now in July because we've had the coronavirus. But you go out every game, play your best, try to win the game, and you know what? You might just win the game. And you're right, TC. Lots of players, lots of teams, lots of managers, philosophy of football. Let's not get beat. When they're absolutely in the shit, they need to get it. Then they go out and try and win. And you know what? They actually win games of football. It's just so stupid. It defies belief, in my opinion. TC, where you gone?
Can you hear me?
Yep, I thought you'd fallen off your chair, mate. I tell you what did make me fall off my chair this week was Graham Souness's comments about Jack Grealish. And obviously, being a massive Jack Grealish fan myself, I had a number of people asking me what I thought. And my opinion of what Graham said is, you can understand why he's in a Sky studio and not managing a football club and in the dugout, because I find his comments absolutely ridiculous.
He doesn't like the way our Souness played. And he's a great player.
Oh, he was a great player. Dirty bastard, but a great player.
But the way how he plays football, he was suited to Wimbledon. Because he was a thug on the football field. You've only got to if you YouTube Graham Souness and the clips and some of the fouls he did. I mean, there were one when he was up in Scotland as a player manager, and it was brutal. Yeah, and I mean brutal, right? Talk about Roy Keane, he was worse than anybody was Souness. Yet he was a great player.
Yes, 100%.
He does not like playing. I mean, Craig Bellamy. He hated Craig Bellamy. Hated him.
Yep.
Right? Now, the kid was a good player.
Yep.
Right? But for someone, there's not for some unknown reason, he didn't like him because he moaned and groaned. And there's loads of players like that.
Yep.
But if you took that away from him, Craig Bellamy, he wouldn't be the same player.
Yeah.
You know, so when you look at people like Graham Souness, having to go at people like Jack Grealish, that is, what does he want him to do? Kick up the air? Well, first and foremost, you can't do it. I was a striker. People said, oh, it's mamby-pamby football today. Let me tell you something. Go to a football field when you can't do anything, because if you retaliate, you get sent off.
Yep.
And let people kick you off. And see how you like it. Yep. It's all right for Souness and all them putting the foot in, especially when it's 60-40 in their favour.
Yep.
You know, and I'm not going to go at him. But why should they keep having to go at players what's got natural ability?
100%, TC. I mean, you know, Graham Souness and Jack Grealish, comparing the two, I've done a little piece about Jack Grealish and Aston Villa. Regan Foy, he messaged me the other day and he said, we do a thing for my Under the Gaslit Lamp website, podcast, etc., etc. I said, yeah, I'll be absolutely honoured to. So he asked me a few questions about Jack. Massive fan of Jack, and the comparisons between Bellingham and Jack Grealish, and similar to Graham Souness and Jack Grealish, you're comparing water to wine. Jack Grealish is a creative player, you know, of the highest ability, and, you know, it's about time in football we started, not us, because we do, but others started to recognise the ability of our flair players.
Never happened.
No, but it's our flair players, TC, that attract us, because without the flair players, I turn the TV off because it bores the arse off me.
Even you won't get it. don't mean this to be horrible to you all.
Yeah, go on.
The reason why it's never going to happen, they are fearful of losing the jobs.
Yeah, they are too, so 100%.
That's the way, that's how they play football.
Yeah.
Why do you think they don't want to play out from the back? Look at the players that these managers sign. Majority of them no composure on the ball.
Yep.
Right? So first, anybody puts them under pressure, they're gonna give it away.
Yeah.
Whether it's a pass straight to them or just boot it out into Rose End or the boot it upfield.
Yeah.
So them type of managers are never, ever, ever gonna play. Well, you know what makes me laugh with all this is they sign players what they think they can trust.
Yeah.
I'll tell you how much they trust him. This, right? Souness, I'm sure Souness signed Ruddock, but he was at Liverpool when he was there.
He probably did, yes.
Got the ball and booted it 60, 70 yards, and people say, "Oh, what a good ball that is." No, he's giving it out of way of his own because they are frightened that defenders and midfield players, right, make a mistake and there's a goal from it. Good players make lesser mistakes.
Yep.
Good players can overcome bad mistakes.
Yep.
Average players will cause you games more, cost you results more often than not.
Yep.
And I can't get it through to people, right? My problem was going to play in the third division. Nobody's going to listen to me playing football in the third division. They're not. Them, they played in the old first division all their life, and rightly so because they're great players, and you should always play at the highest level. With me, I just didn't give it down. I hated the way how some teams played, and I sort of go play at Bury than play that type of football.
Yep.
And if Bury are going to play that way, then I'll leave there. I'll go play somewhere else. You know, these managers in this country are the own worst enemy. I don't mean this in a nasty way. It doesn't bother me whether they get a job or not. It really doesn't, because they've caused it. And they're blaming everybody else that they don't get a fair crack at whip. And I've told you before, Sam Allardyce has managed some decent-sized clubs. Yep. Right? And he's never got a top job because of one thing and one thing only. Even the directors or the owners of football clubs don't want to watch that type of football.
Yep. 100% TC, and talking to you is just like talking to Alan Hudson, and also it's like interacting with Simon Steinrod. I'm loving Simon Steinrod. And have you sent him that bottle of champagne yet? Because he's trying to get a bottle of champagne out of me next season because he thinks Liverpool are going to win the title. And I've primed Manchester City. And I also think if United spend money wisely, I think the title could go to United, because I don't think United are that far behind. So, topic of the week, can Man United and can Manchester City topple Liverpool and take their crown next season?
Well, whoever beats Manchester City will win league.
Yep.
That's an obvious question, isn't it?
Yep. Yeah, it is.
You know, because if City beats them, they've won league.
Yeah.
Well, whoever, they're going to have to push Manchester City out that way, because whatever happens, Manchester City are going to be knocking on the door even harder.
Yeah.
United, I tell everybody about 3 or 4 months ago, well, maybe 5 months ago now.
6 months ago, TC, on the podcast at least.
Right, because of this coronavirus. They weren't far short. Fernando has made is it Fernando?
Fernandez. Bruno Fernandez
has made a big difference. Pogba has come back looking refreshed and hungry again.
He's got someone to play football in midfield with now.
Yeah, exactly. And for me, United, they've got a good young left back coming through.
Brandon Williams.
Shaw was always looked like being a great player, but he had that bad injury.
Yep.
And he's still a good player, don't get me wrong.
Yep.
But they've got a young lad coming through. I personally think they've got to have another quality
centre half. Where you gone? You talking to Jock?
Yeah. Sorry, Gabbie. Somebody just come to buy something.
Oh,
sorry. What it is?
It's like Avon calling in the 70s. Do you see that?
Sorry. These are trying to talk to me, Gabbie, as well as anything else.
It's very difficult. It's very difficult, but we'll carry on.
we'll start again on this. What we on about? Oh, Fernandes, Man United.
Fernandes and Pogba, and can United close that gap? Brandon Williams.
They need a centre half to play alongside Maguire.
Absolutely.
Listen, I don't give a damn what Royce Keane's won. I don't give a damn what Souness has won. I don't give a damn what Fergie's won. I don't give a damn what Clough's won. Get another centre half. Alongside Maguire. Right? Who doesn't make mistakes, because I think the boy side of Maguire is the bigger problem of the two. That's my opinion of it. When I look at Larry Lloyd and Kenny Burns, I wouldn't say they were the greatest two football players of all time.
Same here.
But Cloughy got them playing football from out the back and wouldn't take any chances or no nonsense from other players. And United will be a big, big difference, right? They're playing a lot better now with the tempo. It's still got to be a little bit higher. But the front three, right, with James, Martial and Rashford, and then they got the young boy, what I told everybody about 5 or 6 months ago.
Yeah, you did.
Greenwood. Right? Now, he's nearly ready to push James out. Choose what they pay for James. You know, Martial is scoring goals where James doesn't get enough goals, if you know. But I still like him. And Rashford's going to get goals. Now all them four have all got pace. They've all got control of all, and they all don't panic. So they're always going to cause the opposition problems. Now, if you concede goals, you know, so if you concede one, you've always got to get two to win the game.
Correct.
Right? We know one, they don't lose it, but in general, if you're going to win titles, you've got. So the major problem is cutting out the mistakes and conceding, and it's a lot better this last 3 or 4 months before this coronavirus that they started to pick up, and they've carried on since we've gone back playing football. So I'm like you. I think they're going to be knocking at the door. I think Liverpool. You know, have got to be there. I mean, the last 2 seasons, it's even better than Manchester City's. When I say that, I don't mean it's better. How do I put this?
I know what you're saying.
Manchester City's won 3 trophies last year. Right? And they were lucky not to get into a Champions League final.
Which they could this season.
Yeah. I mean, Tottenham, when you looked at it, Tottenham scored 7 goals against them. Which you find incredible. You know, and that stopped them going to, they've had to play Ajax in the semi-final. But for me, they'd beat Ajax, and then they've had Liverpool in the final. The problem with that is Liverpool always give Manchester City a problem.
Apart from last week. But you've got to admit this, Liverpool was still in the bars. They were to a certain degree, TC, but when you're playing a game of football, and there's no way that Liverpool went into that game anything other than
100%.
We want it. Yeah, absolutely.
100%.
When you score a goal early and then double it, then sometimes you do get results like that with 2 great teams, because sometimes the ball runs for that one team and it doesn't the other. And I do think that we've been in the bar all week, I think, was a real lame excuse for Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp would have been absolutely seething.
He was, wasn't
he? Yeah.
And let me try and explain this to you. All them players want to beat Manchester City.
Of course they do.
It's on television. But Gabbie, some will overdo it than others. When you've won a title, I promise you that.
I
some
100% agree.
So what I will say is, personally, and I think Liverpool's had a lot of luck. Not this season, not last season. I thought they were lucky last season because they played as good as anybody. But I think they've had a lot of luck this season.
I do as well.
I think the ball's run their way. The VAR's gone their way. Referee decisions have gone their way. But still, when you look at it, they've only lost 2 matches in 2. Well, up until this last couple of weeks, they've only lost a couple of matches.
They've been fantastic.
It's been phenomenal. But when whoever it is, when a team wins a league, I mean, Manchester City carried on last year because they went for that other record, didn't they?
Yes.
You know. So when I look at it, I've got to give them benefit of doubt on that. I know you don't, but I will. But Liverpool will have to push very hard next year, because regardless what all the perfect pundits are going to say, I guarantee you this: Man United will be knocking on the door.
100%. And, you know, I do want to qualify that I actually do like Liverpool. The only thing that I don't like with Liverpool is I just think that they lack a little bit of quality in the middle of the park. And what I'm saying is, Liverpool, how they tend to get out is with the fullbacks, and they've got great fullbacks, they've got great delivery, they've got a great front three. And when I watched them against Everton, I thought it was a great example of the way that Everton defended. They closed down the space, and Liverpool can't play through a team. They have to go round the side. And if you work hard on stopping Liverpool going round the back of you, you stop Liverpool playing. I just think that they need a player that takes the ball on the half turn, that creates that space, that is just a player that pulls a rabbit out the hat, drops his little bombs all over the pitch in that final third. A Jack Grealish, a Bruno Fernandes is exactly what Liverpool need, in my opinion, to make them an even better football team. And that's just my opinion. I might be wrong.
Liverpool have got to give the goalkeeper some of the biggest credit they've had.
Great goalkeeper.
The previous two keepers have been horrendous.
100%.
And that they have not helped. And I tell everybody, and
but you've always said that, TC,
about the goalkeeper. When they get a goalkeeper, they all go about the centre back, Van Dijk. And listen, when I first saw him up in Scotland playing for Celtic, I was up there with Doncaster with the under-14s, and I said to Jock and all Willow and all them, player, he'll play in Premier League.
Yep.
And he did too. And he's made a big difference to Liverpool. The biggest difference, right, was the goalkeeper, because they've got nearly all them same players, still kept making mistakes.
100%.
He come in and he's been absolutely different class. I think you're right about that. They find it difficult to play through people, to play through the lines. So a Grealish or a Fernandes, that type of player, a David Silva would benefit Liverpool and make it more difficult for Man United, Chelsea. Because that's another one. Chelsea have looked very impressive at times, under Lampard.
Yep.
And they've just bought two more players, but looks of it, haven't they?
Yes.
So they're going to be good acquisitions to the team. So it's going to be brilliant next season. There's going to be more people knocking on the door. But I will say this, and I'm honest with it. I think they've had the result, the decisions go their way.
100%.
Yet, to play that type of football and lose two games, it's phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal. But you've always got to try and improve.
Absolutely. So what I would do if I was a Liverpool manager, if I was Jurgen Klopp, I'd buy one player. And whether that be Jack Grealish, they're not going to get Bruno Fernandes. Another player I absolutely love and adore. And it leads us to our next 5 of the best players recently, TC, that you enjoy watching. Is a player that plays for Borussia Dortmund, is Julian Brandt. I think Julian Brandt would make a huge difference at Liverpool Football Club.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, even centre forward, what they've got.
He looks unbelievable.
He'd even look even better in a Liverpool or a Man United or a Manchester City. If and when Aguero's ready to step aside.
Yep.
But you're right. Brandt is absolutely fantastic. I mean, the 2 at Man United, 3 at Man United, which absolutely phenomenal, and that is Rashford, Greenwood, and Fernandes.
Yep.
Absolutely brilliant. I love to watch Mo Salah and Mane at Liverpool. I mean, I'll give you 5 there. But, I mean, how can I leave anybody out like De Bruyne? How can I leave out Silva?
Yep.
You can't.
Yep.
But we can't always keep going for the same players.
Exactly. But these players, TC, they're box office. When these players playing for their team are on the TV, you're press the button and you want to watch them because they can do anything at any time, and they can win games, they can score goals, they can create. And that, for me, fundamentally is what football is all about. It's all about entertainment and trying to win a game, going back to what you earlier said.
Regardless of what anybody says,
absolutely,
them types of players, 8.5 times out of 10 against the really, really big teams, they're on the game.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just that one decision, what goes against you, or one mistake. But 8.5, 9 times out of 10, they're on the game, those big players.
Oh, 100%. I'm going to give you a few players of mine that I've liked. I like the boy Kuna from Werder Bremen. Whenever I've seen him play Brazilian international, he looks top draw. I think that he would be a great acquisition to any top 4 team in this country. I'm a massive fan of Julian Brandt. I think that kid is just dynamite. I think his feet are superb. I think his awareness, I think the flair, the guile that he's got is different class. What I'd not do is I would never play him as a centre forward, and Jock and myself were having a conversation about that. Totally agree with Jock. You've got to play players in the position where they can perform, and as a number 10, that's where
it's going to give you as a team a more advantage by having that best player playing in his best position.
Absolutely, TC. And I just don't understand why managers put square pegs in round holes. I just do not get it. For the life of me, I don't get it. I love Ben Rahama that plays for Brentford. He scored a hat-trick this week, and that is one of my magic moments. I think the kid is an unbelievable talent. Bruno Fernandes, I think he's absolute box office. I think
going back to the kid, what you just on about then.
Yeah.
That's what Guardiola does, buys them type of players.
Absolutely, yeah.
From them type of clubs.
Yeah, yeah.
And he even proves them. Yeah. And that's what Klopp and them got to start doing.
Yeah.
Getting that, you know, from them, you know, in the top 3, 4, 5 teams in the German league and all the French league and all them. And that's what they do and improve their teams. Sorry for interrupting you.
But so you've always said that about managers and coaches. That's what you do. You get these diamonds and you brush them up and you make them even better. And Ben Rahama playing in that Brentford team looks like a diamond. Imagine him playing in a top 4 team. I think he'd be even better. And there are noises that Chelsea are looking to move him just across West London and take him on to Stamford Bridge. Bruno Fernandes, I think Bruno's had the effect that Cantona had for Manchester United.
Without doubt. Without a question, without a doubt.
I think he's that good. And for me, my favourite player is Jack Grealish. I think Jack is different class. I'm a big banger of Jack Grealish's drum. I think he's playing in a poor Aston Villa team. And if I'm honest, one of the worst Aston Villa teams that I've seen in recent years. But I think in Jack, they have an absolute diamond. And I hope they stay up because I think Birmingham as a city needs Premier League football. And with the rubbish that's going on at my club, Birmingham City, I can't see us getting in the Premier League for some time.
That was a big result for Watford the other night because when they were winning Norwich, you know, that would have put them right under pressure.
Yeah.
And when you look, they've told Nigel Pearson he's not going to get the job. So I thought that just makes go against them. But I'll give Nigel Pearson credit on that because, you know, I'm not saying it was a great performance, but it was a workman performance. And at moment in time, they've got to get results as Watford because it's between Watford, West Ham, and Aston Villa to get in it. I mean, we'll talk about as magic moments. Now, people look at this, and I thought Grealish played really well the other night against Liverpool.
I think he always does.
What people don't look at, what I see is this. Yes, he's that because they're fouling him.
Yeah.
Right? But they know if they can stop him playing, it stops Aston Villa.
Correct.
Because they're not a great team. There's some decent players in. They're not a great team. And they're not playing with great confidence. But they know if they can stop the supply off to him or kill him in a sense that when he gets the ball, it's not a bad foul. It's a little nudge, you know. So they're breaking the game up and they can't get any continuity in the game. So for me, when I go on my magic moment, it's not a goal, it's not a piece of magic. It's his performance. Because people, these pundits want to criticise him.
Yep.
And I've always told you, they'll come out of the closet, they jump on the bandwagon when everything's going all right, and then as soon as he does it, they haven't got the results, or something happens with it, they might make a mistake, they score or nearly score, and they want to jump on his back.
Yep.
You know, they haven't got the ability, and they don't see the things that he sees as a player, yet these were good players, but playing in good teams.
Yep.
Jack's not playing in a good team, and his performance the other night, for me, was spot on.
Yeah, oh,
it's not his fault they're getting beat.
100%
it's not his fault, because Liverpool, yes, they won league, and maybe again they're not at it. But Jack, they knew Jack was a thorn in their side, and when you look at it, others, it didn't bother them. But as soon as Jack got it pumped, they pounced on it to make sure that he didn't do anything.
100% TC, and I think in Douglas Luiz as well, while we're still on the Aston Villa theme and thread, I think he has been one of the players that's really caught my eye since the lockdown has been eased and the restart has begun. I think that he going forward will be a tremendous acquisition, and I just think that it's so important for Villa and our area, because I've always been of the opinion, I mean, half of my family are Villa supporters, all my best mates and the boys I used to play football with at school and in our Sunday league we're all Aston Villa supporters. So I've always grown up with Aston Villa supporters, and I've always been of the mindset that it should be a race to the top rather than a race to the bottom, if you like, between Birmingham City and Aston Villa. And I think a strong Aston Villa is always good for West Midlands football.
Well, you're right. I mean, your big cities need to have the big clubs
100%
challenging, even if they're not winning, but at least challenging and looking as though, well, maybe making fans dream. Maybe next year we may be onto a winner here,
Yep.
And when they don't and they fall by the wayside, it does not help them one little bit.
No.
Right now, the other side of all this, when you see these pundits keep going on about these teams at the bottom of the league, and then they start to praise them how well they've done to get out of it. When a team wins the league, they always say, well, stats don't lie, they've been the best team, or stats don't lie, they've got relegated. But they always seem to praise some managers and some teams compared to others, don't they?
Yeah.
You Sam Allardyce, David Moyes. And like I've said, they've always had big clubs.
Yeah.
Or decent-sized clubs to put performances on and to make it... it gives them that chance to get a job. Gabbie, I've had to go upstairs or something.
I'm going to say, you sound as though you've been running around yourself, TC, playing 45 minutes.
Well, I find it hard to get upstairs with my knees and what have you.
Yeah.
So I've just got to shut back down again. So they do get the clubs. It's just at the football. And I know everybody's not, but Liverpool have a different type of team to what Manchester City, and you can still love to watch Liverpool play.
Absolutely, and going back to, I do like to watch Liverpool play. I just prefer to watch City play because they pass the ball with more precision, more pace, more guile, more flair. That's just my opinion. I was
going to say that game on Sunday, Newcastle might as well not have gone on yet they got away with a 2-0 defeat.
Yeah.
Right, and the biggest one, I mean, Southampton are playing quite well at this moment in time, but for them to praise Southampton, best performance at season, all they did was throw bodies in, and I'm not saying that's not good. What I'm trying to say is, I couldn't watch that every week if they played that way. No,
I like to watch football players play football. I'm just going to give you a couple of magic moments of mine before you've mentioned and referenced Saints. So we're going to go behind the lens about Southampton with that picture that I believe Julie sent you and we put onto the Curran View Facebook page and group as well. My magic moments are Bruno Fernandes, because as I say, I think the sun shines out that kid's backside, to be fair. I think he's magnificent. And young Mason Greenwood's 2 goals against Bournemouth, I thought they were absolutely fantastic. And I felt for the kid coming off, because I thought that there was a 3rd goal, and I'm sure that when he come off, and if you could read his thoughts, he was thinking, Gaffer, why don't you keep me on? I wanted my first hat-trick in the Premier League.
And that's another thing. Why some managers do that, I don't know.
I don't know. For the life of me, TC, I don't get that. I really don't. I looked at it as soon as he'd done it. I thought, why have you done that? I don't know. I just don't know. It beggars belief, but that's the way that managers do tend.
Today,
they do, don't they? It's as though they're dragging them off and going, "Well, I want more next week." Well, no, I want more today, mate.
But I wonder why
Yeah?
you don't ever pull off a Ronaldo or a Messi.
I just think some players are not pull-offable, if you know what I mean.
I know what you mean.
What I'm going
to say is that on that guy's CV, any guy what's got 2 goals.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, it's a big thing in hat-trick in football.
Massive.
And choose how many you get. It's still another notch.
Yep.
On an hat-trick.
Massive.
I mean, Shearer, Andy Cole, Teddy Sheringham, all these top strikers.
Yep.
Aguero.
Yep.
You know, they'll be fighting to score more hat-tricks than any other centre forward.
Yeah.
Right? And whether you're a midfield player, whether you're a full back, you never want to come off when you're on with a chance to get an hat-trick, ever.
No, 100%. So, but again, I just don't know why managers do that, but it just does seem as though, let's save it for the next game, and the players thinking, no, I want to give it now, gaffer. But, you know, that's the way that modern football seems to be. But behind the lens, TC, the Saints surge back into the top 10. And Terry Curran gives Terry Cooper a little bit of a chasing. And I've got to say, Terry Cooper was Alan Hudson's favourite left back as well. So
great player.
Yeah.
Great player. Yeah, I really started to play well at Southampton.
Yeah.
You know, and it was a weird decision for me to leave to go and play in 3rd division.
But let me just interrupt you for a moment. Borley, who played at the highest level, one of the greatest midfield players that this country has ever seen, told you, don't do it, TC.
Yeah.
And where I'm coming from here now is, if you could turn back the hands of time, and my next podcast with Alan Hudson, I spoke to Alan today, we're going to be doing that. It's if only, the thread is if only. And I know for a fact, if Huddy could have turned back the hands of time, he would have listened. He would have listened to somebody that was a mentor, and he would have stayed at Arsenal. I know that for a fact.
He didn't listen, because I always listen, and I always think, and I always give 100%. Because, like I said, if you've seen me training, if you ever seen me training, I was as good as anybody at training.
Yeah.
You know, to say I've got somebody, I've got the ability to do tricks with the ball.
Yeah, you had.
I was one of those what really worked at it. I mean, Cooper, Tony Dunn at Man United.
Yep.
I'm trying to find out. He wrote a paper about me, the hardest player we played against for me. Now he played in all European games.
Good player.
And won European Cups. I'm trying to find it. The Cooper, I gave him a chase in that night, and he shouted over to, because Terry Cooper never kicked anyone.
No.
He went when he was playing. You next time you speak to Alan, you ask him about Terry Cooper.
Good player, great.
Never,
player.
You know, I was twisting and turning him. He didn't know where to come, stop, or go. You know what I mean? And he shouts over to Hunter, when you get a chance, do him.
Yeah.
You know. And then I put another one, what Julie sent me, another clip about what a thorn in Everton's side. So I really started to get everything to go. I mean, I carried it on when I went to Sheffield Wednesday, but you're playing it lower. Would I turn the clock back if I knew? Well, if you know, yes. And it's not. I would always want to play for Sheffield Wednesday, and I was that far off of getting Sheffield Wednesday up into the 1st division. So that would have made me proud. But you have to play at the highest level.
Yeah.
And when you're playing down there, and by the way, it's not easy. It's easy for us to play with all these best players. It's easy for Curry to play with all these great players. You do it, right? When you're playing against the Exeter of this world, and the balls that I used to get sometimes, they weren't 60-40 in their favour. They were 80 and 90. You know, against me. So how I didn't get more injuries than I did is unreal. So would I change my mind? Yes, I would. And it might sound a bit selfish, but when you look at it, you don't realise, and it's never clubs. I never blame a football club. It's managers what are selfish, and they will send you down a river if they get that opportunity just to save themselves. So would I have stayed there because it was a fantastic club? You've got to win honours, and I should have got more honours out of the game. Yet I helped. I didn't play enough games, but when anybody looked at where Everton were, they were down near the bottom. When Forest, they were down near the bottom. And I'm looking on there. There's a photo on there, and when I went to Derby, we were near the bottom. When I left, we were 8th. When I left to go to Southampton, they dropped down again. Yep. And I'm not just saying, they're facts, Gabbie.
TC,
so,
TC.
Yes.
I remember you playing. You were one of the greatest forward strikers that the country has ever seen. Now, if you were playing in today's game, managers would be looking to get you into the Champions League sides of today. And Manchester United back in the day, Everton back in the day wanted you. I mean, Howard did get you, but the big clubs wanted you. You were that good a player. It's just that you decided to go where you went. And where I'm coming from here and where I'm going to is, I just think it's so integral, so important for players to have great advisors, and that can only come from former players like yourself, like Alan Hudson, like Simon Stainrod, of players of that ability that sits down with the players. I know the players have got agents, and most don't come from a football background. Barry Silkman does, where you just sit down and you go, listen, son, when I was your age, this is what I did. This is my regrets. That's what I should do. Look at the full picture. And I just think there's a very important role for former players to play in the modern game. And I'm amazed that they don't do that. I think it's a cardinal sin.
Well, I'll go back to Simon Stainrod. Technically, he was as good as anybody. I guarantee you that.
Yeah.
Now, he weren't over quick, but he weren't slow neither.
Yep.
Right? Now, where I admire Simon, he didn't lose his rag like I lost my rag.
Yep.
You know, and he thought, well, I'm going to play at this ice level. I should be playing at the ice level. And majority of the time he did. Right? Whereas me, I went, I'm not bothered. I'll go play at Halifax Town. You'll not get me down.
Yep.
You'll never get me down. Right? But when I look at it, they got me down because they got me out of the way where I weren't causing them a problem.
Yep.
What I mean by causing them a problem, if you're doing well, they turn around and say about, well, why did you let him go? They've got every excuse in the world. I was watching a clip of Graham Taylor this week, and when McManamy was his assistant, right? And he was on about Dennis Wise. Well, Dennis Wise was at Southampton, and McManamy let him go.
Yeah.
Right? And Graham Taylor pulled him into the England setup. And McManamy weren't slagging him off, but you could see when he said to Graham Taylor, well, I had him at Southampton.
Yep.
You know, and he's unreliable. He's going to get sent off. He's going to do the daft thing. And what he was trying to say to him is, be careful about picking players like him. And that's what happened with Uddy, right? That's what happened with Tony Curry. You know, because they hadn't got the ability, and Curry and them and Uddy, I don't know about, but I would imagine Uddy will like me. McDonald will like me. They'll turn around and say to the manager, that philosophy is no good. It's no good. I don't like me. You pick the team.
Yeah, all day long. All day long.
You know,
so you had opinions, and again, that's why when we reference the Mavericks, and I always put the Mavericks above anything. When I talk about association football, I talk about football and I love it. But the highest of the highest, the gods of English football, in my opinion, were the Mavericks, because they were players that did things that no other players could do. Those were those halcyon days. Those were the players that I used to watch Match of the Day, or my dad took me down to St Andrews, that I used to put a pair of football boots on and I used to try and emulate what they did. Not your water carriers, not your average Joe.
I'll sum it all up for you. When I was playing,
yep,
and in and around my era, right, wherever I played at, or whatever, if I was playing at Highbury,
yep,
the fans used to sing Liam Brady's name.
Yep.
Who do they sing? What name do they sing? You don't hear them singing names at football ground, do you?
I don't think Arsenal have got a player like Liam Brady again.
Right.
I was talking to Al.
So Alan Hudson at Chelsea used to sing his name. At Stoke, Derby, Charlie George, born as the king of Derby, Charlie, Dave Thomas, whatever. Everywhere I went, Tony Curran, they used to sing the names. All these Mavericks, they used to sing the names of fans.
Of course they
Duncan McKenzie.
Yeah. We loved them. We love them players.
When do you hear that now? You don't.
Very, very, very rarely now, because we haven't got those kind of players. The only Maverick player that was sung at every football ground was Stanley Bowles, and it was always, "Where's your wife gone? Where's your wife gone? Where's your wife?" And Stan would conduct the home supporters as an away player, because that's what Stan was all about. Stan was probably the I think if you're looking at school terms and you're looking at prefects, Stan was probably the head boy, wasn't he, of the Mavericks?
Well, you say that. Every ground I played at, away from home, they used to sing my name. Used to sing, Wanky or Jippo. Every ground I went to.
Of course they did, because they tried to put you off the game because you was the best player.
And then you go in the bar, or afterwards you're saying, what a player. I hope you weren't offended when we were singing about you and all that. I said, no. That's what they try to do, fans. In general, once that 90 minutes is over, boom. Yeah. Like me and Simon, when I got sent off, once it's over, it's boom. On a football field, he wants to win. He's trying to get a result.
Of course,
I'm trying to get a result. I'm angry because he's got me sent off. But at the end of the day, you're trying to do the right thing for the team. But once that 90 minutes is up, I was like Jack.
Yeah,
it's gone. Forget it. We're on to the next game, and let's worry about what happens then. And it's same with the opposition. Do you want a pint or sit down, have a drink, just have a laugh?
Yeah. I mean, going back to Stan Bowles there, I mean, when he come to Queen's Park Rangers, lots of players before him wouldn't take that number 10 shirt because it was Rodney Marsh's. And Stan says,
he didn't bother, did he?
No, Stan said, I'll take him. It was Rodney Marsh. I've never heard of him. He said, the only thing Rodney Marsh ever taught me is how to put me one foot onto the other foot and trip myself over in the penalty box.
But isn't that good?
Yeah, but Francis Lee did that as well,
as long as you're not being allude to all other players.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because I used to say to players, I'm not bothered about Man United.
Exactly.
And some of them would look at me going out. I said, I'm not interested in Man United. Yeah. We'll beat these. Now, we know they're a big club. We know they've got best players. We know they're winning trophies. But if you let a bully keep bullying you, then he's going to keep bullying you. And if you're frightened of a football team, they're going to beat you.
100%. Simon Steinrod, what would Simon have done? He'd have just turned the collars up if he got a collar on his shirt, and he'd walk around, "You're here to watch me." And that's what I want from a football player. All these players that I love.
To Simon, when he started wearing that collar, you see, I was the leader. And they always followed me. Because I was the first person to play with the collar up.
Yeah, you were, TC.
And I should wind Simon up with that one and all.
Have you going back to the question I asked you earlier, and I think we moved on from that. Have you sent the bottle of champagne over to Simon yet? Because I think he's in France.
No, we're going to meet up when everything clears on, and we'll go to have a drink in Sheffield. We'll have his photograph taken. And let him have his moment of glory taking the piss out of me. So we'll do it right. We'll do it right when everything's cleared up. So he can have his little glory time with me again.
Well, absolutely. And we'll do a reenactment of that famous, because I think it's one of the greatest photos in British football, you and Simon Steinrod. But he's got a bottle of champagne out of me if Liverpool win the league and Manchester City don't, because that's what Simon's all about. But if you're going to meet up in Sheffield, give us a shout when it's finished, because I'll bring Uddy up from London and we'll have a few days up there.
Exactly.
Because that's what football TC is all about.
I'll have, if Uddy's going up, we'll have a weekend in because it'd be great to see him again.
Yeah, definitely. That's what football is all about. Making friends and loving the game of football and reminiscing about the great old days and the players that put a smile on our faces. And I just don't think enough players put smiles on our faces these days. How's the Forest book going? John Brindley's writing it. TC was the fastest player that Forest have ever had. I wouldn't disagree with that statement.
Well, it's not the Forest book. I mean, that book is it already been done. I think it was done about 2 years ago.
Oh, okay.
John's had a few. Leftovers, so I'm putting them on my site to sell them.
Got ya. I've recently seen that. Yeah.
We're hoping my new autobiography, and there's a lot more new stuff in that and all.
Good.
That's going to be ready for September to get out ready for Christmas.
Brilliant. And people can private message you, and get a signed copy of that Forest book that John has written.
Yeah, I'll put it on my wall, and if anybody wants to buy it, I think yesterday we sold about 6 already. So that's not bad. And people, don't forget, once people see it, it'll open the eyes up again. So I'll get rid of plenty of them books. I always do. I did with my book. So it's a good book because it's Forest's 20 legends.
Yep.
You know what the fans or John has picked. I think it's John what's picked them. 20 great players that people like Ian Storymore, John Robertson, Duncan McKenzie, Jim Baxter, all these type of players.
Yep.
You know, Trevor Francis. So it'll be really, really good for anybody. So, and I think we'll sell a few more at Christmas time, even with that one. So I hope 1 or 2 people get in touch and private message me on my Facebook wall, and we can get rid of a few more for John. Because he's a great lad.
100%. 100% on both accounts there. And you played in Brian Clough's first trophy win for Nottingham Forest in...
Is that what the Texaco Cup or Italian?
Texaco Trophy, wasn't it?
Texaco
1975,
yeah. I scored in the semi-final, but I think I missed the final, didn't I, through injury?
It got on the... so again, I've posted it in our group, and I tend to leave the Facebook page just for the podcasts, and for the group, all the talking bits that we do on the podcast. Yeah. And I just got the impression that you played West Bromwich Albion in the final, and you were definitely named in the starting 11, but certain things do happen, and number 11's crossed out and replaced by because you were injured.
But I think I was injured for that. I really do. But at the end of the day, yes, I was part of the Forest thing, and I was a big part of it, and I was a big part of Everton. And regardless of what anybody says, when Howard Kendall didn't finish in football, when he came back to Everton second time round, he even wrote about,
yes, he did,
what type of character I was, what could get the club going. All the players were on the floor. But me, I'd go give the king the ball. Only acting about, do you know what I mean? And lads would be laughing. But I was one of them who wanted the ball all the time.
But again,
because I never worried about the opposition.
But again, TC, going back to what we've said many times, not on just this podcast, but other podcasts, it's about you wanting the ball. It's about you being here. It's about you arriving. Give the king the ball. That's not arrogance. That's self-confidence. And that's what I want in a player. And again, going back to Jack Grealish, that's what they did. That's what Southampton did under Alan Ball with Matt Le Tissier. Give the king the ball. Give the king... Alan Hudson done exactly the same with Peter Osgood. Give the king the ball. And Dave Sexton said, you only pass the ball to Peter Osgood because he's your drinking pal. And Huddy said, no. I give Ozzy the ball because he's got more chance of scoring a goal than any other player in our team. And that's the problem. You give the ball to your best player in those areas because they've got more chance of scoring a goal. Football ain't difficult.
Do you know what time it is?
It's time that my missus has turned the vacuum on. However, TC, tonight they've all gone out and they've left me on my own to watch Aston Villa, and I've got a curry that I've got to put in the microwave. But it is that time, so there's no vacuum moment today. But there is a moment where we're going to pick our 6 forecast teams.
I'm putting... We almost has not been there to do any hoovering up.
No.
My two lads have said to me, Dad, don't you do anything. We're going to wash all the pots and put everything away.
Oh, that's fantastic. What I will say, TC, is I've got the mother-in-law.
More chance of winning lottery.
I've got the mother-in-law living with me this week, and I tell you what, it's been absolute bliss. We've had cup teas as soon as we've walked in. All the ironing's been done. What I would always say to anybody is get the mother-in-law for a week, and anything you need to catch up, she'll do. And we have caught up. So the first game is, if I turn it over, on Friday night, Alan Hudson's team, Fulham, and my team that I thought would win the championship against Cardiff. That's a proper game, that, because Cardiff need 3 points to make
Fulham
sure that they
2-0.
get Fulham to, right, okay.
How did they beat Leeds the other week? I do not know. They got beat 3-2 by Blackburn.
I know, it's just a mad game, innit?
They are just a long ball team.
Yeah.
And they'll say, oh, he's done marvellous. I can watch them play football. It's just boring.
Yep, I'm going to go again with a football team, Fulham to beat Cardiff 2-1. I think Cardiff will score, but we've both gone the same. Preston versus Forest.
Forest, 2-1.
2-1 Forest. I'm going 2-0 Forest. I think Forest are firing on all cylinders. Apart from against Derby when Chris Martin scored a last-minute goal and that Forest fan jumped in a canal. What did he do that for?
Well, you know what fans are like? They get obsessed with it.
I mean, you ain't going to drown in a canal, but you might cup a dose of cholera or something. QPR versus your team, TC, Sheffield Wednesday.
1-0 QPR.
I've gone 2-1 QPR, to be fair. I've just wrote it before. Wolves versus Everton. Again, Wolves were my shout to get into that top four.
They've had just 2 bad results lately. I know they beat Villa, but
I know.
The last 2 results have been...
I just think it's knackered them for it. I can't see them doing it now. But I do think that they'll do Everton. So I'm putting Wolves 2, Everton 0. I'm going against you on that. Aston Villa versus Crystal Palace. Now, my stepson Tom, absolute massive Villa fan. Don't think Villa will score another goal. Don't think Villa will get another point. I just think Villa are going to get something, and something just tells me Villa are going to do enough to stay up, and I hope I'm right.
Listen, these two keep saying they're going down. I think Villa will stay up. I really do. I just think that things might just start to turn for them. I'm going to go 1-0 with Villa.
I'm going to go 2-0 Villa and a Jack Grealish brace to put a smile on the face of all those villains that sadly...
Tom's laughing now.
Sadly can't turn up at the place. Tom's laughing. I'm surprised Tom's out of bed.
By the way, he's only just got up. No, he got up early this morning. We went out this morning. I got him out of bed at 8:30 this morning.
Was that for Jock's training? How's Jock going briefly?
He's doing well.
Good.
I'm pleased with him at the moment in time.
Good.
It's hard when you do it by yourself, but you have to push yourself, Gabbie, don't you?
Of course you do. And a great picture of him and Stuart Gray. Name the footballer. I was going to post up. It's Jock Curran. What was he, about 13, 14 at the time? It was a great picture that was, by the way.
15, I think. Yeah. 15.
So Swansea versus Leeds. 2 good football teams there.
2-0 Leeds. That's a great result for Leeds tonight, 5-0. Yeah. Jesus. Well, I've already seen bits of this game. Gabbie, Leeds, listen, they haven't got a clue in this. Oh, what a goal that is.
Who scored the goals for Leeds tonight?
When you see what Bielsa's done with the same type of players.
Oh, he's done amazing.
With the previous 4 managers.
100%.
Right? Sheffield Wednesday have had 4 previous managers, right?
Yep.
And it's absolutely atrocious to watch. I've seen the little bits of highlights of it. And when I've seen it, what's happened, it's like watching... When I say it's like watching Manchester City, what I mean by like watching Manchester, everybody defends.
I agree.
Everybody defends.
Yeah.
You know, other week I'm sat in here and I'm listening to Jock Curran. Oh, we're rubbish. And if we don't want to call it, we'll just start going low. You know, typical English. They have to keep playing the football. They will score goals. They will go up as champions, and they will stay up that's a guarantee. They will stay up in the Premier League because of the football they play.
TC, can we start a campaign?
Well, it was Cardiff game. It was Cardiff game.
Can we start a campaign? It's the Champagne campaign with Simon Stainrod next season. Let's start a campaign. There's no plan B in football because plan A is what you are. That's your philosophy in football, isn't it?
If we don't listen to all the experts in football...
I don't listen to them, TC. I switched off.
We have to do, because they're always right.
Well, I don't, because I think they're a bunch of fucking idiots.
And they're the ones who always tell everybody, you've got to have a plan B.
No.
The problem is, they never work at the plan A, any of them.
Exactly. Plan A, and if plan A don't work, plan A plus. There is no plan B in football. And that's going to be a statement of intent on the Curran View podcast with the idol of Hillsborough, Mr. Terry Curran.
Yeah, and we're doing away with plan B, all of us.
Yeah, plan B don't exist.
You and Simon, we've done away with plan B.
It don't exist. Audie would echo those sentiments as well. And so would anybody that understands the game of association football. So you've gone 2-0 for Leeds United. I'm going to go 1-1 because I don't think Swansea will be good enough, but I do think that Swansea need points, and they were good enough to have absolutely put my team, Birmingham
and we've got
City,
some medical people running on pitch at Tottenham. I think they come from another planet. They look like Martians. What's happening?
Well, that's what Alan Hudson said about Jack Grealish. He was put on this planet from Mars, and they've forgotten to come and get him. But with our weather the way it's been, I'm not convinced that the Martians aren't going to invade and take Jack Grealish back from where he first started.
This coronavirus only attacks certain people.
Oh, it's a very clever virus. TC, it's 15:15 on the football forecast, and we didn't do one. How's Bernard, by the way? Is he okay?
He's at home, and he's he's feeling a bit tired. He went down at Water Park yesterday for a bit of lunch, but I mean he's got all his faculties, so he's not lost anything from his left hand side. Good. And his face has not dropped. He's all there, but he don't feel over great, but he's doing all right, and that's the main thing, isn't it?
Well, again, love to you and yours and all the family. And guys, thanks for listening. We're going to go out with the Harlem Gospel Travellers, Nothing But His Love, and we'll dedicate that to your brother Bernard, and we give you and yours all our love, TC. Until next time, thank you very much for listening, guys.
Brilliant. Thanks everyone for listening, and give my love to your family, and let's hope we have a great weekend with our results.
Top man, TC. Till next time, love you, mate.
See you later. These two are taking the piss out of me and you, Gabbie. See you later. Ta-da. I'll laugh at the vent off. See you later.
Ta-da, TC. Bye-bye.